ex-girlfriend ended things between us after she caused me to lose my leg in an accident, but is trying to reconnect right now after I got myself a prosthetic leg. In 2019 I got into a car accident and injured my left leg severely. My ex-girlfriend was the one driving and was the one responsible for the accident because she was fighting with and yelling at me in the car over a minor issue. I advised her to either stop fighting or stop driving, but she was reckless and didn't care that she was risking not only my life, but hers as well. I suffered for months because of my leg. I had a severe infection resulting in amputation and had to use assistant tools to be able to move. My ex-girlfriend became distant and my parents were my main carers. Her treatment towards me took a 180 turn. Suddenly I wasn't good enough for her anymore and at some point started comparing me to other fully functional guys, claiming I wasn't the problem, it's her low self-esteem, and so she was required to look for a partner with better look, financial stability and so on. She made my trauma all about her, and how being with a guy with one leg affected her self-esteem and imagine in front of everybody. She broke things off with me and our relationship was supposed to end that day, but I foolishly spent months begging and convincing her that we were meant to be together. I even promised her that I'd do all I can to be able to walk again and reminded her of the plans we had together, and I hated myself for it. My self-esteem was almost non-existent. I was dealing with PTSD on top of that. I fucked up and resorted to medication to ease the pain. Therapy was on and off for me because I'd get extremely agitated at the mention of my ex-girlfriend. It took time for me to be able to talk things out properly. I was so stupid thinking she was my one and only, and it got worse when I became convinced that no one will accept me and my disability, since it's the reason my relationship with my ex-girlfriend ended. My parents helped with so much. They and few of my friends supported me to get through this after seeing my overall health decline. In the past 6 months I was given the opportunity to be able to walk again after getting a prosthetic leg. It's long overdue, but money was the main problem. I'm a lot better now, my health is getting better, my mental health improved and gained more self-confidence. My ex-girlfriend reached out to one of my friends wanting to talk to me about getting the prosthesis and bettering my health. My friend was like a messenger between us, but I kept her in the dark so she knows nothing more than what my friend knows. I added clear that I have no intentions to speak to her or discuss my health with her. My friend was respectful and stopped speaking to her about me. She visited my mom last week and left her number with her, expecting me to call. I was stunned that she was talking to my mom. My mom told me my ex was out of town and was low contact with everyone and couldn't check in on me despite wanting to. She said I've never left her mind and she was feeling happy and excited for my experience with my new prosthesis. Right now she is waiting for me to call so we can get together and talk, but I didn't feel comfortable with the idea. I gotta say I felt nostalgic and wanted to call her number few times, but part of me prevented me from doing so. It's been a week and I didn't call her. I'm not sure if I still have feelings for her. My family say I should talk to her. After all, we've known each other for 7 years. It's clear she wants to connect, but I just don't think this is what I want. How should I deal with this pressure? No, he left you at your lowest. Now as you're about to be back on top of your hand in life, she wants to be there. Don't do it. No contact. You need to advise friends, parents and family as you wish. Absolutely no contact. You are already fighting a roller coaster. Why do you want to add to it? You have proven to be a warrior to accomplish what you did. Please for your sanity, do not give her closure. That's what she is wanting. Let her deal with her own mental escapades. It's easy for family to say speak at her. But remember, although the support from them was awesome, but ultimately it was your fight. Remain no contact. Live your life. Keep up with the fighting spirit. Unless she wants to financially compensate all the physical, mental and financial suffering she caused to you, I'd tell her to fuck off. My mom told me my ex was out of town and was low contact with everyone and couldn't check in on me despite wanting to. What? She didn't have a phone, email, social media? This is bullshit, and I think you know it. She is waiting for me to call so we can get together and talk, but I didn't feel comfortable with the idea. Of course you don't. It's only been 2 years, give or take a few months, since she maimed you and then abandoned you. She's proven that she won't stick around if things get tough. even when she's the reason that they got that way. Gotta say, I felt nostalgic and wanted to call her number few times, but part of me prevented me from doing so. That was your sense of self-preservation talking. You should listen to it. How should I deal with this pressure? At 7 years didn't mean much to her when she ran out on me after destroying my leg. It doesn't mean anything to me now. I'm not interested in contacting her. If you want to befriend her, that's fine, but don't tell her anything about my situation. That's no longer any of her business. Also, talk all this over with your therapist. That's what they're there for. I'm glad you're doing better these days. A really cynical part of me wonders if she is making sure things are cool and she won't be sued in future. She was fighting with and yelling at me in the car over a minor issue. I advised her to either stop fighting or stop driving, but she was reckless and didn't care that she was risking not only my life, but hers as well. I feel like this is being heavily glossed over. It's obvious she only wants to get back with you now that you're healed up, but why on God's green earth would you want to date someone who has shown they will actively and purposely put your life in danger? Said you still have feelings for her, but have some self-respect. Are you still seeing a therapist? If you aren't, I would seriously consider seeing one again to address issues with self-worth. No self-respecting person would ever date someone who can't see past their own anger and consequently endanger lives, especially those of the people they love. All of that aside, I'll echo what the rest of the comments are saying. Why would you want to be with someone who abandons you at your lowest for superficial, shallow reasons? Don't contact her unless it's during the process of a lawsuit. She's shown you her true colors. When the going gets tough, she's gone. You dodged a bullet with this one. Don't step back into the line of fire. She caused an accident that took away Op's leg, then dumped him for not having a leg. She's utter scum. Don't do it. If she can leave you in your time of need once, she will absolutely do it again. You owe her nothing. The people pressuring you to have a relationship with her are free to form their own connection with her, but that's not your responsibility. Ex-boyfriend won't stop telling every guy I cheated even though it was 10 years ago. When I was 19, I had an unexpected pregnancy. My ex didn't want to keep the baby, but I did and we stayed together anyway. She was born with a birth defect and died at 2 days old. Because I knew my ex never wanted her, I definitely blamed him, which was wrong. I was upset he didn't care like I did. I ended up cheating with a guy at a support group whose young child also died. I take full responsibility. We broke up, and I took a big break from relationships and pursued personal therapy. My ex is married now, yet every relationship I've been in since, 3, including my fiance, he's messaged the guy warning him that I'm a cheater, and the second time even messaged the guy's parents. Both the relationships ended shortly after, and now he's contacted my fiance, who I actually told ahead of time and understands. I found out the reason why he's been able to find out about all my relationships is because he follows a ton of my family members on Facebook. I don't have it. Do I tell everyone to block him? I tried to talk to him about it and he says if I don't tell them I'm lying by omission, but it was 10 years ago. He says that it says something about my character that can't be fixed with time. I went to therapy. It was horrible circumstances, and I honestly don't think I'm a bad person. I don't know if it would be wrong to take this to his wife. I'm afraid he's going to tell my fiance's parents or my future kids. I just want him to stop. What would you do? Edit, speaking with his wife now. She's very concerned about his behavior and is actually a very kind woman. Edit, I was asked to put this into the post. I was 19 at the time, my ex was 30, and we're 29 and 40 now. Edit, he and his wife got into a big fight. She's creeped out by the obsession and worried he hasn't gotten over me. The age gap at the time bothered her, especially because there's an age gap between the two of them, and she thought he was making an exception for her. He sent my boyfriend a very ominous "you will regret this" message, and we're thinking of involving the police. He was 30. You were 19. Someone was emotionally stunted here and it was not you. Edit, read ops last edit. For all of you defending her ex, tell me how he's still a victim when he's dangerous and resorting to threats. Evaluate yourselves, Jesus Christ, before you identify with this man. The fact that she's still younger than how old he was when he started a relationship with her, and it's been 10 years. Like if my partner's ex was like, hey yes, my profile says I'm 40 and about 10 years ago I was dating your ex. Yes, she was 19 and I was 30, but clearly she was the maladjusted person. What do you mean it's creepy that I knocked up a 19-year-old at 30 and I still won't let go of it? He is literally abusing and trying to maintain power over you. TBH, you should talk to a lawyer about this harassment. Enough is enough. He should not have this much power over you. Take your power back. If you are afraid he will talk, then you talk. And you talk about it all, including his behavior on not supporting you during the loss of y'all's child. And yes, what he did to you when you were together was grooming. From your comments, your cheating probably saved you. And TBH, in this situation I wouldn't even consider it cheating. You were in a very toxic and harmful situation that you were groomed to be in, and it takes quite a bit to leave those abusive situations. Keep going to therapy. You still need some people in your corner. Talk to them about what he is doing. They can also help you legally on the mental damage this is doing to you, and how it is affecting your life. Bully up. You can do this. Take your power back. I commented earlier, but I wanted to add something, which is that it sounds like you've had it pretty rough. That's a lot to go through at 19, a pregnancy then loss of a baby, and to have an insensitive and unsupportive partner to boot. It's cruel given these tragedies that he's trying to hold over your head. The fact that when you were very young and going through a tragedy you cheated on him 10 years ago. You were 19, and for him to be chasing you around all these years trying to ruin your relationships and never allowing you to forget this mistake. I don't know you, but I know you deserve better. You've been through a lot. Cheating is not unusual, which isn't to say I condone it, and not a shame somebody should have to carry around forever. It's a very human mistake. Take care of yourself and I hope this relationship works out. He says that it says something about my character that can't be fixed with time. Edit, speaking with his wife now. She's very concerned about his behavior and is actually a very kind woman. Edit, I was asked to put this into the post. I was 19 at the time, my ex was 30, and we're 29 and 40 now. Ho ho ho. That's super interesting that while he was all about the truth to your partners and or their parents, that his wife wasn't aware of him keeping tabs on you and trying to ruin your life. Also interesting, he was 11 years old and preying on a barely legal teens. I bet his wife will have interesting things to say about his character. It may not stop his behavior, especially if they end up divorcing and he's even more motivated to harass you, but you should get your family to block him. He is a creep. I think my 24F husband, 33M, is staking me. I recently went back to working in the office after working from home since March 2020. When they announced that we could come back, my husband threw a fit and pretty much wanted me to either find another WFH job or just be a stay-at-home wife. We don't have kids. I love my current job, so I refused to. Ever since I've been back, he just randomly comes to my office. One day it's flowers, the next day it's food and so on. At first I thought he was just being romantic. Then we started running into each other around town on my lunch break or at client companies even miles away from his job. This weekend I went out of town, a couple hours away, with my best friend, and we both think we saw his car. Yesterday I turned my location off on my phone and he asked me why I turned it off right away. He denies checking on my location and says he randomly noticed but then was mad I wouldn't turn it back on. He won't admit to any of it. I don't even have anything to hide, but it just feels weird. I could be crazy or something really weird could be going on. Do any other husbands do this? How can I get him to admit it? Or how can I make sure I'm not crazy?